Doing a little maintenance on my old RV, get ready for race season. Figured I'd make a quick video and talk about front hubs, and maybe you guys have a toter home or an RV. You don't know shit about heavy duty stuff. I'm not a big heavy duty guy, but let me going on here. So this is a beautiful, almost June day in Oregon. The average guy probably never services these, but these beautiful little sight glass here tells you how much hub oil is in the front hubs, and an oil bath bearing. And I get a discount on parts, but I bought a set of these and they're $11 a piece at Napa. I get a discount, but they have a drain. My new ones do not. My new ones are a little longer. My buddy said that there's only a couple different bolt patterns, so pretty straightforward. The deal is, the average guy, let's say you get a leak on the side of the road and you got some old ones of these. This is what's going to happen when you try to put the plug in here. They're pretty simple. You can buy a repair kit that replaces these, the seal, and they got little tiny screws. But for the money, you're way better off to just buy a new unit here. And then popular things, the Lucas hub oil. You know, they generally take a 75-90, but yeah, just put a little goop on the bolts and torque them down, and try not to get any rainwater in there. And we're cruising here. So we're just doing some service work to the RV and the trailer today, but this is something that gets overlooked. And same thing with the rear diff. I'm probably not going to service that today, but at some point this race season, and the air dryer. But doing the tranny, the engine, the generator, the front axle, greasing it. I need to do some different thermostats, gaskets. I had some on-road repairs last year, so this is a pretty sweet 1992 American Eagle. Caca! Anyway, hauls the old family around. So alright, so I thought I'd just kind of add this in here. If you go up to Napa and you got some parts guy that's looking at you like a goat staring at a watch, and he says, well, there's like 20 of these Stemco covers. If you look, a lot of them are the same bolt pattern, but ask them what's the most common one they sell. Mine was a 303-4009. When it's got a different front prefix, like a 343, I think those designate like it's got a drain. Anyway, something to just to add. Good luck. So got the hubs done, ran to Napa, got some transmission filters, and changed the fluid in the tranny. We're doing some thermostats. So this is an 8.3 Cummins. It's got a 6-speed Allison in it. I've done this on the side of the road a couple of times. We had a pretty substantial overheating issue. It's like the hottest recorded day. It's like 112 degrees here in Oregon. We drove this thing to Sacramento, which is also hot, and an 8-hour drive took, I don't know, 14 and a half hours. This has an old mechanical, everything on it's mechanical, but the hydraulic fan, also the hydraulic fan and the power steering pump, both are on the same circuit. So I found a valve block on the side of the road, but I was afraid to take it apart. Once I got home, after another 14-hour drive home, it's just a quick nut adjustment. You can crank the pressure up to the fan. As things wear and start to fail, it prioritizes the power steering pump over the hydraulic fan. So this thing just worked like a charm, and then one day just started overheating, and I thought maybe the thermostats were stuck closed. I took them out, and then I put some 180s back in there, and I'm going to put some 160s in here today. The reason for that is it runs I don't know, 210 degrees in the summer heat. I'd like to drop that just a touch. So there's 4 bolts up here and 4 bolts here into the alternator bracket, and then this one bypass line here, and then that block can come out. It's a lot better to work on when the engine's not 240 degrees or 230 degrees and you're on the side of the road trying to do this. But spun a new coolant filter on here too. Anyway, yeah, I'll show you guys what I did up front too. So this, I put Lucas hub oil in here, and it's pretty thick, so I kind of overfilled it, and it is settling right now. Takes a little bit to get back in the bearings. And drained 3 gallons out of the transmission. Let's see here. Got a filter kit, got some new thermostats here. And gaskets. Alright, so I'm back again and got this deal apart. I'm just fucking up my phone here with getting coolant and stuff all over. It's awesome. But got that off. I don't know who spilled that. Well, it was here before. Not out here like beating baby seals with a club or anything for the environmentalists. But I did my best to contain the coolant. It's just gonna happen. So yeah, bang some new T-stats in here and keep plugging along. Here we got some new thermostats and gasket put in here. Got this little guy. I wouldn't be afraid of gooping this. The thing that concerns me is that bypass hole right there. The couple times that I have gooped this on the side of the road, yeah, that thing's usually pretty caked. So you know, don't need to be causing more problems with your cooling system. But gaskets, that was like $4 and that was like $2. Probably a lot more expensive now because I bought them like 8 months ago. But anyway, just sharing here. Tidbit. These are the seal for this bypass line, and it's the flare doesn't really flare. It's mostly this rubber seal just squishes on compression and seals this line up. There's just a tiny flare to keep it from coming out of the nut. Most truck shops and stuff have those. You buy like a bag of 10 of them, but in a pinch you can use some. It'd take you a little bit to figure out the size, but you could use a some rubber hose or something. So something for you guys to keep in mind here. I changed that last time I was in here, so should hold up hopefully. Probably just jinxed myself. All right, so we're back again. Jesus Christ. So if you're working on a diesel system, I don't know about newer coolants, but anything with the old green ethylene glycol, you need to use a cavitation additive. That's what this is. I'm sure there's tons of manufacturers of them, but with a wet sleeve liner, the vibration on the sleeves actually can cause the cooling system to cavitate and get air in it. So allegedly that stuff helps it adhere to the cylinder and prevents the coolant from doing that. It's just kind of a must-have, so something for you guys to keep in mind. All right, so belt is on. At some point on one of the trips here, the dipstick pushed out and kind of blew oil over everything, so it must not have been locked down. Seal's probably getting bad on the end of it. They twist to lock in there, so new coolant filter. There's a bleeder back here, as there is on most new cars and diesel stuff, so you don't get air pockets when you're filling it up. It's all full. Yeah, we're ready to move on to the transmission. I got a filter kit. We're going to be working on a Allison, that's the coolant filter. We're working on an Allison MD 3060. My filter kit from Napa. Yeah, let's get rolling. So came under here and tried to degrease this earlier. I drained the oil. That is just a 3/8 ratchet head. Yeah, sure, buddy. As long as you got work clothes on.
What?
As long as you got work clothes on. So these are the filter bolts.
I have one.
Filter covers.
Oh.
We're gonna get these zipped off, get these drained. The kit comes with O-rings if they're square cut or just standard round O-rings. You just replace them with like units here. So I got this cartridge out of here. Some O-rings down the end. It wasn't that messy getting this out of here, but it's also out of, I drained 3 gallons out of it, so at least that's what I kind of figure. So we'll get this thing cleaned up. The filter says 08, so it's been a minute. So kind of chose not to film the rest of yesterday. It was pretty rainy. The wind caught the back door and ripped like a fiberglass piece off that looked like it was panel bonded on, so I had to drill it and rivet it. I'll probably show you guys that. But I also didn't think anyone would want to watch a middle-aged chubby kid rolling around under a motorhome trying to grease it. But I adjusted the brakes this morning, greased it, finished servicing the engine, transmission. I just serviced the front generator. I'm going to fire up the propane system. I drove it last night, double checked the hub fluid this morning, and adjusted the headlights. I went and found a concrete building I could aim them at. Let me show you guys what I did here. Ooh. I also ended up putting 2 mufflers on this thing. Anyone that pitted next to me last year, sorry, it's terrible. So loud, the generator was loud, but I use it to power all the electrical because the generator is pretty badass. My whole race program kind of relies on it. So one of the lift supports broke, and went and got some new ones of those, but had to rivet this deal. Thing was exciting. I ran into the garage to get a tool, came back out, that thing had crashed. So yeah, kind of concludes getting this thing ready for racing. I'm gonna race season. I'm gonna fire up the propane system and check the tire pressure, and this thing's ready to go.